we had such a huge night ahead of us when it came to Tuesday Night Impact, the announcement that changed the wrestling world forever when Kenny Omega and Don Callis? I'm gonna call him Don C. When Don C and Kenny Omega was showing up on last night's Impact. But before we get there were some pretty good matches. You know, we had a nice women's tag match, an awesome main event, and a couple interesting segments throughout the show. This is for the first time ever we are doing Impact. This is another episode of Kimmy Talks Wrestling, and we are starting right now. Woo! So, funny story. I started watching Impact, or slash TNA, because it was TNA when I started watching it. I watched TNA first. I did not start out watching WWE, which is actually really funny because I'm wearing a WrestleMania beanie. But I started out watching TNA. So this is my first time watching TNA in about 10 years. Which is super scary because I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I watching wrestling on Tuesday? So I'm going to start first by talking about the commentary team. I am all for women commentators, right? Like, that's my goal. I want to be a commentator. But I cannot stand that. I am so sorry. I cannot stand Madison Rayne on commentary. Like, I understand, like, her and Josh Matthews, they're married in real life. Like, that's so cool. No. Like, I don't know what it was, but it, like, maybe because I guess she's supposed to be the color and, like, Josh is supposed to be more of, like, the play-by-play guy, but she would just, like, put her into, like, I don't know, like, it just sounded like she really didn't know what she was like, this is just me, like, again, just a me thing, but, like, she kinda sounded like she didn't know what she was talking about, and then, like, if I heard for, like, literally within the first half an hour, they literally mentioned every 2 minutes that Kenny and Dawn was there, and, like, it got so annoying, because we know that they're there, just do the segment. Like, they were literally making it like, "Okay, we're talking about it so much, it's gonna be the 9 o'clock segment," or, "Oh my god, it's gonna be right after the opening match." And it wasn't until like, the segment didn't go until 9:45, 9:50. So, what the heck? Our opening match, though, was super cool. So, I got very excited every time I noticed this superstar, and I'm like, "Oh my god, no way." So, it was Chris Sabin from Motor City Machine Guns versus I forgot his name. I think it's something Page, possibly. Correct me in the comments. But it was a member of the North, and Motor City Machine Guns is literally the most amazing tag team. I loved them when I watched TNA. I think they're great. And to see them like 10 years later, like so cool. And Sabin got the win. This was a really good match too. Like it was back and forth and you know, there wasn't any like outside interference or anything. It was such a clean, cool match. So way to go. And then it was my man, TJ Perkins versus it's Brian Myers, yeah, versus Brian Myers, who's formerly known as Kurt Hawkins. And little known fact of me, I was the one who picked TJ Perkins to win the entire Cruiserweight Classic when they did it, and I was right. I was so happy. I literally picked TJP from day one. I am such a huge fan of him, even though he lost. He lost. That made me kind of upset, but it was a good match too. Like when you have the match like this, like, it's so weird because it's like, oh, like, these people used to be in WWE, but they didn't use them. But, you know, I thought that it was a cool match. You know, it was good. The women's tag team match was also really good, too. So it was Rosemary and, oh, what is her name? John Morrison's wife. Her. I don't know her name off the top of my head because, you know, first time I watched him back in 10 years. John Morrison's wife and Rosemary versus Kimberly and Deonna Purrazzo. This so good. And actually really funny because my other promotion just worked with Rosemary this weekend. But this was a really good match. Like I've never seen Rosemary wrestle before. So I thought this was like a really cool like introduction and like I love her character. I think her character is like super creative and stuff. And it like, you know, it was what the match needed to be. It's set up for Rosemary and Deonna on Saturday at Final Resolution or Revolution. I think it's Resolution. Yeah, it's Resolution. That was also a really good match too. We're all filled with good matches. And it is so weird for me to see Rich Swann as the world champion. I am so sorry. Like it's just so funny to me because it's like this guy was a cruiserweight champion. That's all he was in WWE. And here he is. He's the main guy in Impact. So the main event, it was It was him, it was Rich Swann and Willie Mack versus Moose and Bay. I think it's Chris. Yeah, it's Chris Bay. Okay. So from what I understand, these are like the 4 main people in Impact. And this is a really good match too. Like, I didn't have a problem with the wrestling part of the show. I had a problem for the big announcement. That was my issue. I thought the match was really good too, and especially since these are like the 4 main people that you want to see, because like I said, from my understanding, these are the top people on Impact every week. So if you want like this new audience that tuned in to watch what Kenny's gonna do, this was super good. I thought it was super easy. The faces win. Good job. And before I get to Kenny, I just want to say the Tony Schiavone, Tony Khan paid ad had me crying. It was so funny, especially when Tony Khan was like, "Hey, you've had a cup of coffee here in Impact, right?" And then Schiavone was just like, "Yeah, Dad quit the business for 18 years." It was so funny. It was so good. Like, yes, especially when he was like, some people think I'm gonna buy Impact. So funny, so good. Like, this is what I need in my life. For the Kenny announcement, though, I was so disappointed. So this is my thing, right? You're expecting, they're gonna announce the TNA and, well, I have to call it Impact now. It's not called TNA anymore. Impact and AEW, they're gonna be a crossover. You're expecting they're gonna announce like what Kenny's doing, whatever. I got nothing. The only literal thing I got from this segment was how Kenny is somehow going to get the Impact title. And he's going to be like Kurt Angle in 2007 when he had literally every single championship. Like, and then he's like, "Oh, wait till Dynamite." So why did I tune to Impact last night? I could have just watched Dynamite tonight. Like, why? I was so mad, especially because of how much the commentators hyped this up and how much everyone hyped this up that Kenny was on Impact, and it was literally nothing. They could have done this segment literally on BTE. They could have done it on Twitter. This was not needed. I mean, it's a super cool moment to see like 2 well, I don't want to call him. I'll call Impact a major promotion. So like, it's cool to see like 2 major promotions like intertwining. Like, that's super cool, and like it was super cool to be a wrestling fan for that. That's not what I'm saying, but nothing. We got nothing. And then Kenny decides to call himself the Architect. Boy, that is Seth Rollins' thing. I know you want to verse him, but you gotta cross the ship because Rollins ain't coming to you. You're gonna have to go to WWE. But yeah, like, I don't know. Again, that's just me. I mean, some people did say that too, because people are like, "Oh, if WWE did this, people would get really mad," which is true, and that's why I'm really mad. If they're going to tease us again and say like, "Oh, you gotta wait till next week," no, I expect my answer tonight, Kenny. I expect it tonight. I expect you to do like I guessing you're doing like the Luger Express because they hinted at like, "Oh, you should see our transportation for tomorrow." Remember Lex Luger? So I'm assuming they're gonna do the Luger Express, which if you don't know, I think it was for WrestleMania 10. I think it was for WrestleMania 10. It was like Luger had his own bus with his face on it. And it was like he's gonna win the title, and he didn't win the title because he decided to spill and tell everyone he was winning the goddamn title, and he didn't win. Oof. But yeah, that's my Impact review. This was also like like I said, like the wrestling part of it was really good. Like especially like I haven't watched Impact in 10 years, and if you could tell, I don't know everybody's name and face yet. And if I'm gonna continue watching Impact every week, I gotta know that. But it was just such a letdown. Like, it's like you hype this up so much. What are you doing? Got me so mad. So, that's Impact. I don't know if we'll be back next week with Impact. It depends on what the announcements tonight. So make sure to watch Dynamite or NXT tonight, but make sure to watch Dynamite instead. Or you can watch NXT. I don't know. Up to you. You do you. We all love wrestling here. My Dynamite review will be up tomorrow. It will be up tomorrow morning because at 1 I gotta show my Izzy video in my sports class. If you did not watch my Izzy video, which was the interview I did with Izzy, make sure to check that out because that's actually my sports final project. So I gotta show that in class tomorrow, the whole 17 minutes. And then Saturday, I'm gonna have my SmackDown review, and we will be back next week. Like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna do Impact next week. It really depends on what Kenny's gonna say. It depends on what's going on. Comment if I should still do Impact. That's what we'll do. Comment if I should do Impact next week. I don't believe I'm buying the pay-per-view this weekend, so I'm not gonna do predictions or like whatever, because I'm not getting the pay-per-view, not paying for it, because I don't know it. And then of course next week we'll be back with Raw, depending on Impact, Dynamite, a SmackDown, and then we have our TLC predictions. Izzy may or may not come back on. Let's hope and pray. I'm pretty sure she is, though. We gotta talk to her. So yeah, so make sure to like this video. Comment if you were also disappointed with Kenny's announcement, and comment if I should still do Impact reviews, because if you want it, I'll do it, especially with the time I have now that school's over. Make sure to click that bell for notifications and subscribe. I will see you tomorrow for our Dynamite review, and hopefully I have a better reaction than I did to tonight. Well, last night.